Hey, what's up? So you want to learn how to saber twirl or spin a lightsaber, but you don't quite know where to start. You might find it intimidating when you see guys online doing all these flashy lightsaber tricks, you know, throwing them in the air, spinning them behind their backs, doing all these random tricks that you want to replicate, but you don't quite know how to yet. I'm going to walk you through step by step how to do a couple of these moves. When it comes to saber spinning, a lot of the moves these people do online take months, if not years of practice. I know a lot of people say that they've learned these moves from memory or just watching the movies. That's kind of how I learned them, is just watching the movies and replicating them. But some people might struggle with that. My goal for this video today is to take somebody who has never touched a saber whatsoever or has never spun a saber in any way and wants to learn how to spin a saber, and to teach them a few basic moves to help them learn more. I'm not going to be learning any super advanced moves today. That could be reserved for another video. Today I'm going to be breaking down basic twirls that you can do to help grow your confidence in saber twirling and just help get yourself in the basic flow. Once you learn a few basic ones, the rest come kind of easy. The first spin we're going to do is the basic twirl. That's the one I'm doing right now. This is probably the single most essential spin you'll ever do for any saber. You can see anybody when they're warming up to do a saber twirl or when they're about to do one, they always do this right before they warm up. I do it, I'm guilty of it. It's just natural for people to do. But I've noticed some people it doesn't come as natural for, and some people might struggle with that. That's okay. Totally fine to struggle with some things like that, and everyone learns at their own pace. I'm gonna break it down step by step of how to do the basic twirl so that you can do this and get a good start for saber twirling and your flows. So the first step we're gonna do is we're gonna hold our saber in a vertical position, a 90-degree angle between our hand and our saber. You see that? My arm is straight and the saber up is straight. The whole point of the basic twirl is to do an entire circle around your body with your hand being the center of that circle. So the entire spin comes from your wrist. Your arm stays the same and your body stays the same, it's just your wrist. So the step one is we're gonna get from this position to this one. You're gonna hold the saber upright and you're just going to point it forward, just like that. Pretend like you're Voldemort or he who should not be named. Kind of like that. So you're just gonna go from an upright position into pointing it, right? Keep your arm steady and just point. When you do this, you wanna drop the 3 fingers at the bottom. So you wanna focus on using these 2 fingers. So you hold it with those 2 fingers and you point, right? And when you're pointing with just these 2 fingers, you can kind of feel it wanting to drop down farther, right? So let's practice it again. 2 fingers, point. Once you get here, essentially you want to get from this 90-degree angle down to the 180. You want to get all the way to half the spin. So when you do that, you're going to start upright, do your point, and now when this turn, you're going to move your hand into an upright position, right? So my palm is going from here to here. So 1, 2, 3. See how I did that? 1, 2, 3. The saber is held between my thumb and my pointer finger. See how it's just held in that little pocket there? That's where you're holding the saber the whole time. So ready, 1, 2, 3. See how my hand is flat? Once it gets here, take your second hand and just push the bottom of your saber like this. Your hand will naturally turn. So just push and your hand will turn to follow. And you're gonna return back to this position and grab it with the 3 fingers again. 1, upright, drop the 3 fingers. Step 2, Voldemort. Step 3, palm facing up. Step 4, back to the original. Ready? So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got that? Once you get comfortable with that, start doing it a little faster and get in the hang of it. Remember, the saber should only be between the first 2 fingers, your thumb and your pointer finger. You shouldn't be gripping the saber like this. See people online all the time, they're gripping the saber with all 5 and they're trying to spin it. You see how my hand isn't spinning? It's not as comfortable. If you just focus on those 2 fingers, you could spin it. And now if you want to get really inventive with it, when you start getting comfortable, you could flick it, you know? So the normal spin is just between the two fingers, but if you want to flick it, grab it with all 5, flick it with the bottom 3, and then catch it again. Flick, catch, flick, catch. Once you get that flick down, once you get that flick down, you can start speeding up, right? And that's step 1. Now look at that, you're already spinning a saber. The second move we're gonna learn is the first move, but reversed. So our first move was this basic twirl. We're gonna learn the exact same twirl, but backwards, right? See what I'm doing here? So, it's important to learn the basic twirl first. So once you learn that move, then move on to this one. However, if you wanna be a rebel and move to this one first and skip the first one, that's fine, whatever.
Rebel scum.
I'm gonna break down this one step by step. The exact same thing as the basic twirl, but just reversed. So you're gonna take all 4 steps of the basic twirl, the 1, 2, 3, and 4, and go in reverse. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're gonna start again vertical, but this time drop the 3 fingers, and you're gonna go back, right? When you go back, your palm is going to go up. Because remember, when we were holding our saber like this, our palm is up. So we're gonna start from here, and go 1, 2, and we're just holding it down there. Again, you can kind of feel that when you drop those 3 fingers, it wants to go all the way, right? And that could be a cool trick that you do to kind of get the hang of these flows, is you just hold it with your 2 fingers, and you push it in the direction it needs to move, and it'll naturally move the way it should. So you hold it upright, drop your 3 fingers, push it down, and now your hand is upright. And now again, to continue your flow, push the bottom of your hilt down, and turn your hand again. Your hand is turning just like that. So very slowly, like that, right? Kind of got my flow here. The basic twirl is this, and the reverse twirl is this. The exact same move, just reversed. Once you get this first one down, the second one comes super easy. And you can just kind of switch them up like that, right? So now you know how to do 2 basic twirls. You know how to do the first one and the second one. And now we're gonna start getting a little bit more tricky. We're still in the beginner moves because this whole video was just beginner moves, but we're starting to get a little more tricky because now we're on the third move. And the third move is called the figure 8 move. I'm sure you've seen people do this all the time, and I've mentioned it a few times in my tutorials on TikTok. I do shorter tutorials on TikTok. The more in-depth ones are on YouTube here. So the figure 8 essentially is with the tip of your saber, you're making a figure 8 formation, right? Like that. But you're doing it through your whole body. Like this. So the figure 8, essentially the way I see a figure 8 is if there are 2 circles on my body. One on this side, and then one on this side. Tracing each one and moving to the next one, right? So again, it's very essential and very important that you learn the first twirl, the basic twirl, because that's literally half of this move. So to do the figure 8 move, you're gonna start with your basic twirl. That's half of it. That's on the dominant side of your body. For me, it's my right side. It might be your left, however you choose to spin a saber. So your first step, obviously, is to do your basic twirl. Your second step is you're gonna start here, saber upright again. You're going to take your hand and go down here. When you go down here, the tip of your saber should not be on the top, it should go to the bottom. So the tip of your saber should go there, right? You kind of see that? There. Almost like you're slicing down, okay? Slice. When you get here, here's important. When you get here, you're essentially going to take your hand and go in a circle, right? So twirl, slice, even if you need to guide it with your other hand, circle, like that, okay? Let's try it. Twirl, slice, circle. Keep your arms stiff for now. For now, it looks goofy, but trust me. Twirl, slice, 8, twirl, slice, 8, twirl, slice, 8. Kind of got that? Okay, and do that motion again. 8, 8, 8, 8. You got that? Okay, now when you do it, don't keep your arm stiff. Keep it loose. So twirl, slice, and you're gonna go up this time. So instead of moving your arm up, your saber is going to twirl up, okay? So twirl, slice, saber goes up. Got it? It's down, saber goes back up. And we're gonna go back, down into our basic twirl. Okay, you got it? So twirl, slice, twirl, slice. Okay? So now essentially you got that goofy movement down, right? With your arms stiff, you got that movement down. You added a little bit of a twirl there. Now you're gonna put them together. So your twirl, slice, go back up, go back down to your dominant side now, and your twirl. All right, so let's put them together. Twirl, slice, up, slice, up, slice, up. So slowly start getting the hang of doing this as wide as you can, right? And then the more comfortable you get, the closer you can get these twirls to your body, right? There's two twirls, the basic twirl and then this one. The closer you can get those to your body. And sometimes you'll notice people rock back and forth. That's what I do because I keep them so close to my body, I start rocking. So like this. All right? So work at your own comfort level, obviously, because now you have two spins. Instead of one, you're doing two on two sides of your body. Obviously, I don't want you to hit yourself in the face. I've done it a lot of times. Not fun, but I wear a helmet, so it's totally fine. Just start with the saber at a very comfortable level. Get that flow down, get the figure eight down. Make sure you're twirling in between. Your hand is not stiff, your arm is not stiff. And then you can slowly start speeding up and getting the hang of it. Again, I want to make sure you're using those two fingers. That's where all of your spin comes in. So that's where, if you see someone spinning a lot or they have a lot of spin in their flows, it's because they have a lot of momentum and a lot of control using those two fingers and using the leverage it gives you. Okay, this next move you want to make absolutely sure you are outside for. Doesn't matter how tall you are or how tall your saber is, it is very important you are outside for this move because you are going to be reaching up as high as you can and extending your saber as tall as it can go. So, essentially we're going to take the first move, our basic twirl, and we're going to do that up here, right? Here, right? Behind your back. So, I know what you're thinking, this is not a basic move, this is not a simple move, but it is, trust me. It's a lot easier than you think it is, because once you learn the basic twirl, any move that incorporates that basic twirl is a piece of cake. It's just a matter of where you are placing the saber and where it needs to spin on your body. Basic twirl is on the side of your body, on the dominant side, or whatever side you're holding the saber on. That is where the basic twirl is, okay? When you extend the saber up this way for the one we're doing, the basic twirl is now on the back side of your body, all right? The danger that comes with this is whacking yourself in the back. So you wanna make sure you are holding it far enough back where that is not a possibility. So a good way to test that is to raise your saber up in a horizontal position as far back as it can go. Obviously you don't wanna be like this. You just wanna hold it back far enough where you're confident and then just drop it down. And make sure you have leeway. So raise your hand up as hard as it can go, hold your saber, and make sure it can swing. So once you have that down, once you have your clearance down and you know that you can make that spin, what you're gonna be doing is just your basic twirl, but you're gonna be doing it behind your back. So, start with your saber in a horizontal position this time, right? Trust me, it'll be easier. Horizontal position, put it up as high as you can go. From the horizontal position, you're gonna move it up into the top vertical position, like this, right? Start here, go there. Kind of like Luke in that poster. And with one hand. Start horizontal, punch up, and point up, all right? Now from here, you're going to move it that way. So now your hand is moving from this position to this one. Right? Saber up, hilt up, and now your arm turns, right? And now to get the saber down, you just drop it again. Up to 3 fingers, and it'll fall, and it'll just swipe. And when you start swiping it down here, and you can see it's kind of like a little clock, get that momentum, and just kind of bring it back up to the horizontal position you were in. All right, so if it makes sense, I know it's hard because you can't see what you're doing, but you can kind of feel it. It feels just like this, but this way, if that makes any sense. Hold the saber up, push it back as far as it can go, and spin. You're just flicking the saber, okay? You're just flicking the saber. The next part of the move is the motion you're doing, right? So you're gonna start with your saber at your non-dominant side. Since you're spinning it with your dominant hand, you're spinning it in a dominant motion, you wanna start at your non-dominant side. So for me, it's my left foot. For you, it might be your right, but I'm gonna go with my left because that's what my non-dominant is. I'm gonna start with my left foot. I'm gonna raise my saber up like this, right? So I'm starting here and I'm going up. And I'm essentially going in this kind of a formation, right? I'm doing this, but when I get to this center point, I'm spinning and going back down, right? So you start here, you go up, do the spin we just learned, get back to the top, and keep the momentum. Ready? So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And I speed it up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2, 3. And the reason this one looks cool, especially at night, is because you're just doing a basic twirl, but you're doing it up here. So it looks like you're doing something a lot cooler, but you're just doing a basic twirl. And trust me, once you learn that basic twirl, everything's super easy. And if you want to get inventive, you can do it backwards too. Up, spin, back down. Up, spin, down. Up, spin, down. Right? And now you can throw it into a figure 8. So you do a figure 8, get down here, and go up, spin. You kind of see how all of these flow together? So figure 8 down into this, figure 8 down into that. Now, these aren't the flashiest moves, and they're not the ones that are gonna get you the best videos yet. But if you're new to saber twirling and you've never twirled one before, these are the moves that you should start with to kind of get yourself into that mindset and get your body into that flow to spin more accurately. So if you're new to saber twirling, let me know if this video helped you. Let me know if I could break these down a little bit better for you. If you want to check out my TikTok, more tutorials are up there. Along with my YouTube, there's more in-depth tutorials on some of these moves, breaking them down step by step even farther. I'm going to make another video going over 5 more advanced moves or more intermediate moves that you can start doing when you get more comfortable with your saber twirling. But I hope these help, and I hope that you can start your saber twirling, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace!